Welcome to the back pew. Well, over the last few weeks, we've been working our way through the Sermon on the Mount. It maybe has not been a comfortable journey because Jesus is teaching and he's pushing us to really think deep and to explore what does it mean when we say we believe in Jesus? What's it mean in our real lives as to how we live as disciples? So far, we've learned that Jesus explains to us that discipleship is a matter of being blessed, and that blessedness are those who entrust themselves to the grace of God and live it out boldly. We then began looking at that next part about what is the role. Well, the role of a disciple is to be salt of the earth and light for the world. And that our role is essential. The world needs us. Well, this week, Jesus takes us into another uncomfortable spot. This week, the Sermon on the Mount turns to look at how do we live as community. We're going to hear about, you've heard it said, and Jesus is going to take on some really uncomfortable things. All of them with one purpose, though. These things are such as murder and murderous language toward one another, how we relate to one another as brothers and sisters. It's going to talk about sexualized thoughts and behavior and the relationship of marriage. Oy. Not comfortable. But Jesus is doing this because he's explaining to us that how we live together matters. If we're followers of this Jesus, it's not me and Jesus have a great thing going and the heck to the rest of the world, but we are now drawn into a community. We are gathered as a community. And how we live is a witness to our discipleship, but also to the world. And boy, is that uncomfortable. I don't know about you, but I know that right now in our own nation, it's not a comfortable place. The level of tension is so high, all over politics. And it is just under the surface. It doesn't take much. Take a look at Facebook. I don't know about your feed, but what I see, I've got people on the extreme right wing and the extreme left wing all in the same feed. So how do we live celebrating that which unites us, knowing that that is greater than what can divide us? How do we live as community? How do we live as disciples, where we recognize the person in the pew or a few pews behind us, those who gather at communion with us, these people matter to our lives, and that we are responsible to one another. We are God's children living it out together now. This is what we're going to be talking about this week at First Lutheran Church Galveston. Might be a bit uncomfortable, but I believe this is what Jesus wants us to hear at just this moment. Jesus finds each of us to be so lovable and valuable, and he wants us to get it, that we're that together. So let's talk about community this week at First Lutheran Church Galveston. If this has been meaningful, please pass it along. I hope that you can share this with someone so that they too can think about these deep, hard questions, all for the good of the kingdom of God. Have a blessed rest of your week.